Welcome to Audrey's reading area. Yes, on this terrific Tuesday. What kind of books do I read on Tuesdays, you guys? I know you remember Educational Tuesdays. However, I've got another Halloween book that I'm going to read for you guys because I just have another Halloween book adventure. Holly's Halloween Adventure. It's a Holly, Hobbie, and Friends book in Holly's Halloween Adventure. Now, this book was written by Alyson Heller, illustrated by Kellee Riley. So, it says Holly and her friends are throwing a Halloween bash at Aunt Jessie's cafe. But with all the planning, Holly forgot to think of a costume. Will she find one in time for the big costume party? So that's Holly's Halloween Adventure. Yes. It was a week before Halloween, and Holly, Amy, and Carrie were trying to decide what to do for the big night. What if we have a costume party? Holly suggested. Maybe Aunt Jessie will let us have it at her cafe. Carrie and Amy grinned. That would be so much fun, said Carrie. Yeah, said Amy. Everyone can gather there after trick or treating. The girls made their way to Aunt Jessie's cafe where they asked if they could use the space for their Halloween bash. Of course you can have the party here, said Aunt Jessie. It sounds like a great idea. What costumes are you girls planning to wear? Carrie, Amy, and Holly all looked at each other. We actually haven't thought about that yet, said Carrie. But don't worry, we have plenty of time, said Holly. The Hey Girls always have cool costumes. Yes, they are the Hey Girls, I guess. The next day, the Hey Girls met in Amy's treehouse to create signs for their party and to come up with activities for the night. We definitely need some fun games to play, said Holly as she drew a large jack-o'-lantern on a piece of poster board. Like bobbing for apples, suggested Carrie, or pin the hat on the witch. Guys, we also need to think of some costume ideas, Amy reminded them. We only have a few days. Hey, Holly looked at Amy thoughtfully. Hey, Amy, I've got an idea for what you could be, said Holly. You could go as a horseback rider. You already have the outfit. Amy paused while struggling with some pesky double-sided tape. You know, that sounds pretty cool, said Amy. I can bring the stuffed animal version of cider. I don't think the real thing would fit in Aunt Jessie's cafe. The girls laughed. He would probably eat all of the apples for our game, too, Carrie said with a wink. After the signs were finished, the girls walked all over town, putting them up and making sure they looked just right. Guys, I still don't know what I'm going to do for my costume, and the party is in a few days, Carrie said with a worried look on her face. How about a pilot costume or a flight attendant costume? Holly suggested. You've always loved to travel. Carrie nodded, looking relieved. That will work, she said. I'll start looking around. The day of the party finally arrived, and Holly, Amy, and Carrie were busy setting up all the games and decorations for the night. Hey, Holly, what's your costume going to be? Asked Amy as she opened a big bag of fake cobwebs. Well, I don't really know, Holly admitted. Carrie and Amy both stopped decorating. But Holly, the party starts in about 2 hours, Carrie said with a frown. What are you going to do? Asked Amy. Holly sighed. I don't know, guys. I guess I got so caught up in the planning and everything that I didn't really think about my costume, Holly admitted. I kept thinking I had more time. The three girls sat at a table in the cafe wondering what they were going to do for Holly's costume. At that moment, Aunt Jessie walked into the room carrying a tray of chocolate cupcakes with orange frosting. Her smile faded as she took in the gloomy expressions of the Hay girls. Girls, why the long faces? Aunt Jessie, concerned. Aren't you excited for your party tonight? Well, I kind of waited until the last minute to think of a costume, Holly explained. And now the party is only 2 hours away and I have nothing to wear. Aunt Jessie grinned. Is that all? She said. Don't worry, Holly. I think I have an idea for you. The girls all looked at Aunt Jessie with hopeful looks. Really? Asked Holly. Really, said Aunt Jessie. We'll have to hurry, but thankfully we don't have to go too far. Hmm. The Hay girls followed Aunt Jessie and looked at each other with puzzled expressions as she led them into her house. Come on, girls, said Aunt Jessie. Let's go up to the attic. As they walked into the attic, Aunt Jessie led them to an old trunk in the corner. Holly smiled as she realized what Aunt Jessie had in mind. Why didn't I think of this before? Exclaimed Holly as she opened the trunk, which was full of Aunt Jessie's clothes from the 1970s. I always borrow this stuff, and these clothes would make a perfect costume. Perfect. Carrie, Amy, and Aunt Jessie grinned as Holly tried on a variety of outfits, finally deciding on a long flowered skirt, lace-up boots, and embroidered top. You remind me so much of your mom, said Aunt Jessie thoughtfully. This is perfect, said Holly, giving her aunt a big hug. Thank you for helping me. Carrie and Amy had guilty expressions on their faces. Holly, we wish you knew you didn't have an idea for a costume, Amy said. You helped us think of ours, and we feel bad that we didn't help you out. Holly put her arms around her two best friends. It's not your fault, she said. I should have put it off. Besides, now we all have the perfect costumes for our party. Aw. A short time later, the party was in full swing. Fake cobwebs hung from the ceiling along with spooky cutouts of witches, ghosts, and black cats. Everyone was having a great time, even Cheddar, who won the bobbing for apples contest by simply diving into the bucket. No one wanted to play the game after that. Holly went up to her mom and Aunt Jessie, who were both dressed up in kimonos that Aunt Jessie had collected during her travel. Holly, you look wonderful, exclaimed her mother. I'm so glad Aunt Jessie was able to help you out. Holly laughed. Ha ha, me too. Me too. Nice. Holly, Carrie, and Amy decided to taste some of the yummy Halloween treats. This was so much fun, Amy said. You have the best costume, Holly, added Carrie with a smile. Holly gave Amy and Carrie each a big hug. Thanks, guys, said Holly. Happy Halloween. Aw, the end. Wow. Thank you guys for listening to me read fun, exciting books like this. Holly's Halloween Adventure. This is a Holly Hobbie book. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Mom, for being here. And Mom and Emlyn, my niecey Pooh. All right, you guys, thanks again for joining me here. You know I'm going to ask you to please click like, please hit share, and then go on over to YouTube. Type in Audrey's with apostrophe S reading area and smash that subscribe button for me. Smash it up real good and punch, 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 punch. The 1-2 punch on that notification bell so you can be notified every single time I upload a new video. All right, all right, all right. Now, tomorrow I'll be here at, let's ask Alexa, what time is Audrey's reading area?
Audrey reads in her area at 5 o'clock p.m.
All right, all right, all right, you guys. I will be live. Live. Trying to make it straight. That's Live. Live at 5 tomorrow. And I will see you there. Again, thank you for all your love and support here at Audrey's Reading Area.